Yeah, so how are you? We're good. The audio is now running like it's supposed to. Is that the right one? That's not the right one. That's the volume. No, that's the right one.
Hold on. There. Did you roll intro? Go ahead, roll
No,
intro.
I've just been sitting here waiting.
Well, roll the intro. You're gonna have to roll it.
I'm Rebecca. And I'm Deanna. And we're the Halfwit Sisters.
Hi. How are you?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. No longer flustered.
So I started recording when Becca wasn't aware that we were like actually just going to record like a 20-minute podcast to give an update on like what we were doing. Because she said she was ready. And I was like, okay, I'll just set the recording up and we'll go and we can cut whatever we need to cut. And then Becca was like, wait, because she wasn't in the right position. She didn't have anything set up.
Yeah, I was on my bed. I was prepared for us to like talk about how we were going to conquer our things for the day, right? Because we know we want to record some episodes for the game and talk about like where we're at on the project that we're working on, right? So I was prepared to talk about that, not to like suddenly jump into a podcast episode. But she was like, "F that, we're doing this," and so. Nowhere near my recording spot, so I had to like.
You were near it. You were just adjacent to it.
You talk about something. I got something I want to show off.
Okay. So we have been doing the It Takes Two gaming playthroughs for the last few weeks. We are just put out the 7th episode of that. So pretty much for the last 7 weeks. We'd done that so that we could focus on a couple different goals. Becca focusing on writing and me focusing on losing weight. And I have not super succeeded in that. I don't think my scale is correct not because I don't like the number on there. Obviously, I don't like the number on there. But also because at one point it said I was 205. But the very next day I went to an aerial rope course and they had to weigh us. And I was 197. And now I'm 203 on that scale. So I'm not quite sure my scale is weighted correctly. So it's either my scale or their scale. I'm hoping their scale is correct because, you know, they've got like a big industrial one. So I need to go and find a actual scale and weigh myself better because
Don't you go to the gym?
I canceled my membership because the whole thing with having to go there at the time was I had to set up an appointment to go. And it was just getting harder and harder to schedule appointments because if I missed like the hour that I wanted to schedule the appointment 2 days in advance, then all the appointments would be booked up. And so it was just getting super frustrating. So there was like 3 weeks that I couldn't go because I couldn't get an appointment. Of course, right after I canceled, they're like, okay, you don't have to do the appointments anymore. I was like, well, fuck that. I'm not dealing with that. So I got a bike and I rode 10 miles on Saturday.
Oh.
I didn't
know how to pace yourself out.
I didn't mean to. I was at work in the morning, and then I took my bike to the store because the whole issue with the back tire, it's now fixed, thank God. And then I rode it to my boyfriend's job in Soho, and then I was like, well, I have my bike, I would like to go for a ride. You know what, there's a bike trail on the east side. It pretty much goes around the entire island. So let me go to the Hudson River bike trail. Get on there, and I'm riding. At one point I get lost, had no clue where I was, and not long after that, I figured out where I was, but it was too late to get off the bike trail unless I wanted to turn around. And I didn't think to turn around until just now. I literally could have turned around. But I got onto a part of the trail where there's no off ramp, basically. And you just keep going. It's a beautiful ride. I enjoyed it immensely. But why did I just turn around? That was totally an option. So I ended up at 125th in Harlem and taking the train home from there. From Soho. So if you're not from New York, which you're probably not, that's about 10 miles. I did not mean to do that, but I forgot to get off. And that turning around is an option. What? I could have just turned around.
And she's a college graduate.
At any point, it would have been less miles to turn around. Oh my God. Okay. How's your time been?
It's pretty good. Pretty good. Just gonna let you bask in that for a while.
Oh my God. I literally just now thought I could have turned around. At no point in any other retelling of this that I was like, oh, I should have just turned around. No. I was stuck on the path going one way. It's a two-way path. I passed people going the other way.
This is definitely should, like, make sure the sound is going through on this moment.
It is.
It needs to go onto our TikTok.
This
It
is
really
why we're
does.
called the Halfwit Sisters, because I have half a wit.
Fuck yes! Oh my God, is it not the Halfwit Sisters? Oh my! You know, the only story that I have relatable to this in like the last few weeks that compares is I went out to so our grandparents run a business called All American Walls that makes veneer stone, fake stone, and that you can put down on pathing or on the side of walls. And so
Shameless plug. Link in the description.
Whatever.
If they have one. I don't know if they still have one.
Whatever. So I'll put a link to the TikTok that I made of the stone.
So my grandparents have a business where they make veneer stone. So I'm out here helping them move some of the stuff around. I was helping them pour for the last couple of days. And it's quite the process. A lot of heavy lifting. There's some of the rock that we poured over there. It's a lot. And here's what that stone looks like if it's on your wall. They have little samples here too, stone that they've done. They've had this business for a long time, and I'm super proud of them, and I wanted to share it with you all.
Because their website's not really going.
Oh,
But they, so they had an order come in. It was a rather big order, and I went out to go help them. And while I was there, one of the things is you have to pop the stone out of the mold, and the way we were doing it was pop the stone out of the mold, put it onto this cart, roll it over to where you put it onto these pallets so that the pallets could be moved out into the sun where the stone finished baking. So we're popping the stone out of the mold, and I couldn't reach some of it, and I was like, could you like move or could you pop the stone over here so that I can like reach it better? And our uncle looked me right in the face and goes, or you can roll the cart forward so that you can reach it. And I stared at him. I swear to you, I stepped back, looked down, and remembered that there was wheels on the cart. It was like, you right? And pushed the cart forward so that I can reach the stone. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a master's degree. I've been thinking about going for a doctorate. We are well educated.
Oh my god.
This just proves that just because you have book smarts, it does not equate to, like, what do they call it? Street smarts, right? Like,
yep.
there's clear difference between, like, jeez.
Oh my god.
So, yeah. It is sometimes just like that, you know? It's just sometimes just like that.
So, it's been a good time. Oh my god. But, so as far as, like, making our goal, like, for me, it's not been great. I have no clue where I am in my goal. At all. I have the possibility of doing this street team event that goes on at my boyfriend's work. And if I do that, then I will take my bike every day and get up when I get off at 5. I'll go for a ride around Central Park and wait for that hour that I have to wait for my boyfriend to get off. And then we'll take the train home. But so I'll probably be riding my bike a lot more over the next few weeks. And, you know, not trying to kill myself by going 10 miles on 4 hours of sleep after 7 hours of work. Just turn around next time, Deanna. You fucking idiot. So, how has been the writing?
Yo, let's talk about the writing. So, July happened. And first, I want to talk about something that was really exciting that I got in. I was like, so here's this TikTok that talks about the building of the game, right? The way that I was mapping out using a whiteboard.
One of the things we talked about documenting here on the Halfwit Sisters channel is part of the process of building our projects. So what I'm about to show you is just a bunch of gobbledygook on a whiteboard. But this helps me kind of get an idea of what our path is through the game. It's a line, boxes, but it shows me the tree that I'm building so for our Choose Your Own Adventure.
Okay. Then, because I wanted to transfer, so let me pause so that whatever, we put it somewhere. The TikTok has happened at some point. You put it up, we put it up in the video. At whatever point, we put it up in the video. And because I wanted to move that information from the whiteboard to my handy dandy notebooks that I always keep a lot of my ideas in, this one is specifically done for Belladonna. I have a hard time continuously, I don't want to keep recopying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Recopying stuff that you've written down one place to another place. Like some people like to do it. I don't always like to do it, especially if I have it written in a very specific way on the board. I don't want to recopy it. So it sat on that whiteboard for like a week while I was trying to figure out how can I get that from the whiteboard to my notebook. So I got a Kodak Smile. That's what this is. It's an instant camera and has a little digital back. It's an instant camera. The reason why I got the Kodak Smile is because it takes where'd it go? It takes instant pictures that has the backs, which are stickies. Yeah?
Yeah.
Stickies that I can put in my notebooks.
Nice,
yeah? Yeah. So you see the writing all there, yeah? Don't have to copy. Take a good picture, put it in the book, write what I need to write down. Yeah, right?
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, felt like it was going to help my writing flow. Hear that? Felt like it was going to help. It felt like it was going to help my writing flow.
Not so much.
I entered depression and avoidance mode so hard. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Depression and avoidance mode so hard. It wasn't anybody's fault. Well, yes and no. There were some people's fault. I was telling somebody, I did a TikTok about this recently. So I just released a TikTok about this because even through the month of July, I did not put out a single TikTok.
Was it what do you get?
Yeah, what do you get out of this?
I just saw that today.
Yeah. So, the beginning of July, I get the Kodak Smile, I do the thing, I'm so excited, I'm super excited. I was actually trending up in my followers on TikTok. I was 10 away from hitting 500 followers. I was super excited. I had all these ideas. I was going to do all these things. I was going to knock the fuck out of our game because I had done all the, you saw, I did a lot of work. And I was super excited. And then I was sitting down and I was talking to somebody. I'm not going to name who, but I was talking to somebody. It was a family member, but I was talking to somebody. And I was like, I'm so excited. Here's all the things. I'm trending up. I'm this close to doing this. We're super excited. And then they go, explain what was the next steps, right? And they go, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work for nothing. That's a lot of work for nothing. And I was like, wow. that's exactly what you never say to anybody. But it hit me. It hit me hard. And it was like a gut punch. And it hit all of my insecurities. And then I entered depression and immediate avoidance mode. And I shut down super hard. Because instead of like looking at the person and saying, fuck you, or do what I want, you know how you want to tell people whenever they challenge your dreams. I was like, no, you're right. Yeah, it's nothing. It means nothing. I'm not whatever. Right. And so I agreed with them. And then I got angry and sad and depressed, and I entered avoidance mode. And so for most of July, gone. I was not doing anything but playing our games with you, or reading a lot of fan fiction. I probably read way too much fan fiction. I read a lot of My Hero Academia fan fiction specifically. I don't know why I decided to read that particular fandom, but that was the one that I decided to just read. And I read that until pretty much the last week of July, when I went, I can't continue to do this. I can't continue to let this person's words defeat me. And just to let you all know, I was not reading any inspirational fan fictions at all. There was no I'm never letting this villain defeat me or anything like that. No, I wasn't reading any inspirational fan fiction whatsoever. So there was nothing like dragging me up. But I was not watching any inspirational anime or nothing like that at all. There was no inspiration or anybody that coming into my life telling me to like pull myself up, get yourself in order, nothing like that. There was nobody that was coming around telling me that life was going to be okay or things were going to get better or anything like that. There is none of that popping up in my life. So when the end of July rolled around and I was sitting there and I was looking at...
Ignore the mess. Sorry, I need to turn my do not disturb on.
You're fine. I had done a nice little thing on like where I was at in the game developing process, but I hadn't written a lot. So when that end of July came around, I was like, I got to change this. In other words, I'm not gonna get anywhere. I'm not gonna succeed in anything. I'm just gonna continue to do this cycle again and again and again. And that's just not going to be great for myself in the long run, be helpful to DJ in the long run, and it will continue to prove what this one person and others in the past have all said about me as well. So, in the end, I had to tell myself, get your act together. And so I did finally sit down and write the beginnings of the game. Cool. And I did, yeah. So I did start writing the beginning of the game, but then I ran into the next problem, which is, what the hell's the bank named? What the hell's the company name? And what the... So now I just, there's, little things, I gotta name some things, and that's about it.
Speaking of which, Becca, because it just occurred to me, how many end cards can you make?
4.
4? Okay. Good. So you did look at that. Because I was just...
I've set, it wasn't like I was never not doing something. There's always something that I was looking into. I know exactly how many things can be done here. I know what can be done there. Okay.
It's just one of those thoughts that just occurred to me. Because I've been doing the end cards and the prep for the videos. All but I don't do the thumbnails. But everything else I'd been doing for the last few videos. Because you've been out helping the grandparents. And I was it just occurs to me that I'm I know you can do the subscribe and the playlist and like 2 videos, but can you do more than 2 videos at the end cards?
You can.
Okay.
You can. I sat down and I figured that out. I even tried to figure out whether or not we could go and do it on TikTok, because TikTok has made a lot of changes. So I sat down to see if we could do it on TikTok as we had originally planned, and the answer is still no.
You can pin comments, but it's still, I think you can only pin one because I've only ever seen one pinned.
Mm-hmm. But even if you can put it in pin, I was like, well, there's nesting comments, right? That's where you see the comment, and then you can do comments within those comments, right? That's nesting. So I was like, well, what if we did the comment and then do here's choice, and then you have the next 2 choices in there, right? And those would be the nesting comments would be those 2 choices, right? But the problem is, and that would work. That would actually work. But the problem is, because of the way that TikTok works, if one of those choices really took off, the algorithm would pick that up and put that put that on everybody's For You page, and that would take away some of the mystery. And so we didn't want to lose part of that mystery. So that's why it's like TikTok still isn't viable.
Yeah.
For that.
Okay.
Anyways. So I did get the beginnings of the game. It is all written out in the book. It's all written out. It's like just in the book alone, it's per page. So one of the things that I'm removing entirely from my vocabulary when in terms of the game and the projects, and I urge you to do the same, is to remove the phrase "it's a lot." When you do that, it's a defeatist mentality. It's a lot is a defeatist mentality. And I no longer want to say that in terms of the game, because when we look at what we already have, we already know that we have 20 different videos that we're doing for just the henchman Belladonna. Then we have however many videos we're doing here. I want to remove it's a lot, because that puts into our mind, well, that's so much work to do. Yes, duh, that is.
We are a 2-person production company.
Yeah, so I'm dropping that entirely because we don't want to defeat ourselves. So let's just fucking remove that entirely. And now I'm becoming a motivational speaker, but whatever. We're gonna remove that entirely from our thing, because we want to keep our energies high and our motivation high, and the only way of doing that is if we balance both of our energies off of each other and say we're working together on this. And that phrase is the quickest way of bringing us both down. So we're removing it entirely and focusing instead on what we are working on. The other thing, the reason why I'm not putting that particular TikTok, it's like 2.5 minutes long, so we're not putting it. But the other thing that I came up with for myself is the phrase, it's a day one. It's day one tells me that I'm ready to do all of the work that I know needs to be done in order to succeed in any of the projects that I'm working on. That says that I'm ready to work for whatever. So I said this morning, it's day one, and then I finished all the clothes that were in my bag, my laundry. I did all those clothes, and then I did some more work on the game, like, again, figuring out what names that I needed for this and that, right? I urge you to come up with something the same to our listeners. If there's something that you honestly want to work for, or a goal you're going to work for, you're welcome to use it's day one, the same. It's also a reset phrase for me. If I am absolutely overwhelmed, again, we know our project is very large, and there may be a point where we're sitting down and we're looking at these 20 scripts, and we're going, we need to rewrite them because they don't fit whatever we come up with in the game. We're like, we have to come up with a better way, so we have to rewrite all of them. And that might make us feel overwhelmed. Instead of getting overwhelmed, we can say, okay, we're doing it. It's day one. All right, that means start again from the beginning and move forward, right? That's the same thing anybody can do if they're starting to feel overwhelmed on a project that they're working on. So that's just something that I think will help me move forward, and I hope that it works for you too.
Yeah.
Cool. So, to bring it all to a close, where are we at on everything, DJ? It doesn't sound like you're very sure.
Like, I feel more comfortable with where my body is. And whether that's because I'm slimming down a little or just because I'm coming to terms that my body has changed. I don't know. I do know that I don't think it's me slimming down. I think it's me more coming to grips with where I am because my clothes still don't fit right. Which does mean I do at some point need to sit down and go through all of my clothes, purge, and buy a new wardrobe to accommodate my new size.
Right.
And I'm coming to grips with that. There are still things that I have that fit me, like the Belladonna coat that we have, the black one, still fits me just fine. Everything else might not fit me, though.
Okay.
That sucks.
The cool thing about it is that we get to completely redesign, though.
Yes.
Right? That's the cool thing. And the other option that we have is we can move away from certain things we didn't like to begin with. Right? We know we wanted the character to be sexualized, but now we can really play around with what aspects we wanted that to be sexualized, right?
Yeah.
So if we really wanted to accentuate the legs, well, what kind of clothing can we use to accentuate the legs? Or if we really wanted to pay attention to the curves on the figure, right? What kind of clothing could we do that would really pay attention to the curves on the figure, right? Or if we don't want to do anything with pictures at all, we have the ability to do that as well. That we can completely move away from images and focus entirely on vocal performance instead. That's something else we can do and find other ways of bringing our project to life, right? So we don't have to be tied down to one thing.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I want to remind you on. So I don't want you to feel too bad if the original image isn't there.
I'm not too worried about that. Like I said, the biggest part of the henchman Belladonna's outfit was the fishnets and the coat. Those two still fit. It's getting a new skirt. I have to get a new wardrobe anyway, so getting a black skirt isn't an issue. So it's like, a lot of what we originally had still works. The game outfit, the her as a villain outfit with the leopard print thing, one that barely ever fit, so gonna have to get a different thing there. But also, I kind of held on to that as like an ode to where we started with this character. And she has come so far from that awful experience. And the fact that it was an awful experience, I'm okay with letting that go.
Yeah.
So,
I was thinking a lot more about her transition, too. What I can do a little bit later with you is read what I've written so that you can kind of understand the kind of transformation I've seen in her voice. Because in the scripts that we've written as a henchman, she's very much kind of irritated most of the time. She's trying to just get by. She's what most millennials are, which is a survivalist, right? She's just trying to get by, trying to do her job and make it to the next day. And that's very much a portrayal of everything we see. In where I see her in the game, she's at her next step, which is, I know who I am, and I'm trying to make my vision come true and make the world take notice of me. And so her voice has changed a lot more in the script. And when our next section of it, which is the her being a businesswoman, coming out as an entrepreneur, which is that final set of TikTok scripts that we haven't written just yet, or you started to, but the voice isn't quite there just yet.
Yeah.
That is where we're going to see her really start settling into this kind of what most people might think is a generic businesswoman kind of thing. But I think we can really play on, it's more like she's come into her own. She knows exactly what she wants, and she's not going to be taking a lot of shit from people.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're working towards in that, for those scripts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that being said, I think we're fine on the Belladonna henchman side.
Mm-hmm.
And just coming up with that new character design to fit the voice that she has developed.
Yeah.
For that side, which kind of sucks because I spent money on that outfit, but it wasn't a great outfit to begin with. I was never truly happy with that outfit.
That's cool. In terms of like the game, like I said, I have the beginnings of it, and the hardest part is going to be the logic, really, for building out the decision trees. That's probably going to be the hardest, and I'm trying to decide what is the best way to give that to you. Most people will use Excel as a way of putting down the script. I want to create a prototype that's a little bit easier for us to work with, so that we have an idea of like how the actual decision trees work. So whether that's using Twine or something else, I'll let you know. But starting out, it may just be scripts with like A choice, B choice, C choice, and going from there.
I mean, honestly, especially if I start pulling in other people to help with the voice of Skylar and Parker, that's probably going to be the easiest way, instead of having to have this big packet of, hey, this is how the game runs, of just like, hey, this is this tree. So
the decision tree and the shoot script are two different things entirely.
Yeah.
I'm essentially writing two different scripts. The decision tree is how the game will flow, and that'll be how I would actually put the game together on the back end using YouTube. Mm-hmm. And then the shoot script, which is what you guys would be using, would be entirely different. Okay. Given here's everything your character says, that would be given to the characters themselves.
Okay.
Than you. So I know exactly what I need to give you guys in order to succeed. I would not give you a document that says, all right, now you need to click through and so you know how this game plays. That's not what I would be doing.
Yeah, but honestly, like for like this, knowing the decisions, it also will depend on like if this is the first choice and like this is the tree that leads to failure, I would want to know that as an actor, so that as I get closer and closer to failure, that affects how I perform it.
Ideally, what would help would be able to be a part of the recording sessions, like every now and then. Not always there for them, but every now and then being a part of the recording session. Yeah. So if there were something that we could pop in, or if they could contact us, that would help. Yeah. But we'll conquer those when we get there. For now, we're just at getting the thing written. So we'll get there. Okay. So this went way longer than we were expecting, but that's where we're at on everything. It seems like we're always just like right here, and a lot of that is because it's really hard to get from this phase to the next this is really our first project. Especially our first project working together on something this big. Yeah.
Like we did the gnome video, and we've done like my holiday shorts video, but like those are very small projects that were just point and shoot at once we got down to it. this will get to that point and shoot point, but we are still in the planning phase because there is that huge decision tree that we have to work through. There is a whole game that is being developed.
Right.
And a story and a world. So
yeah. So let's go ahead and end this. You know what to do.
Oh wait, actually first, I just kind of want to brag about this. So we, boyfriend and I, followed a Bob Ross tutorial. Oh, it's still wet. Damn it. And this is mine. And it's so pretty. Trying to get it not to glare. This is mine. This was my first attempt ever working with oil painting, which is why it's still wet. And then we decided to go to Michael's and buy more oil paint so that we could do a second time and do more of these like every few weekends. And this was my second attempt. It did not turn out as well, but the colors are brighter. So that's my second attempt. And so I'm really proud of my first attempt and my second attempt. Well, I tried. I'm not an artist. I am an actor. I'm a different kind of artist. So, other than that.
You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and if you haven't already been checking it out, we are playing It Takes Two. It's coming out in lieu of our regular scheduled podcast because we are trying so hard to get past everything else in our lives to do the project that we're saying that we're working on. So head on over to that. There should be already the end card there for you to click on. And if you could just drop down into the comment section and give us a big old cheer to get us over the hill. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.